Sid is from Community Access Unlimited, which is, again, one of our providers, and he's going to talk about homeownership opportunities.
I started Community Access out of my car back in 1979 with a $90,000 grant to take 20 people from the back wards of the developmental centers and place them in their own homes and provide community supports, one person at a time, and building community supports around them. Today, Community Access supports over 3,000 people. We provide core services, employment, money management, recreation, health monitoring, advocacy, and other personal growth supports. We have probably 50 to 75 couples who live together with their significant others. Many are married. Many have commitment arrangements. Many have children. And some of their children have just recently, over the last 5 years, graduated high school, college, gotten degrees in computer science, and we provide supports all along. We also provide housing. Housing is one of the supports that we do. I've been asked you to talk about housing. That's where I'll focus on. CAU is one of the largest providers for the Division of Developmental Disabilities. We support over 300 people in supervised apartments, in their own apartments, supported living, supported housing, shared housing, and we also support over 1,500 people in their own homes, helping them become their own business. Their business is to hire and fire their own supports. It's called Personal Preference Program. And I gather one of the panelists here receives those supports. And we're the physical intermediary. People choose in CAU where they live, and they change roommates according to their preferences and circumstances as their lives change. Some people choose to live by themselves. Most live with others. Members, those people we support, are members of Community Access, as I'm a member as well, can move in and out of CAU housing options or be in their own homes. They can choose wherever they go. The supports will follow them. The members we support have choices and real concrete safety nets if supports or the housing arrangement fail. Life circumstances change. As we all know, our life circumstances have changed and preferences change. We have backup for people with disabilities, a strong self-advocacy group where they have direct access to management to make changes. Management has to go once every 2 months in front of the advocates to listen to what the issues are, and then we have to go back in 2 months. So if we don't respond to it, we're in trouble. We do the same with our family support group. We have backup from Community Access, which has funds set aside for agency members. Vast arrays of available supports through the vast array of supports that we do give. Plus a fund, a HERGOT fund, which is grants. There's $250,000 set aside to give grants where people we support may have emergencies. There's a $250,000 Stiller fund that gives interest-free loans to the members we support in case they have emergencies. And we have a Fraser grant that actually funds people to go to conferences and increase their advocacy. Community Access has developed over 193 units of housing, which is equal to 437 bedrooms. 107 of those bedrooms are barrier-free and accessible. We have not used state bond money. Therefore, housing options are very flexible to meet individual needs. CAU has over 30 different funding sources that we have used over the years. What is used, if anything, depends on life circumstances and individual circumstances and needs. From a zero budget, we've been able through housing to actually have over $1 million in a housing fund that we can support people, loan money, acquire housing according to need, and have that replenished. So we've come a long way in housing development out of my car. CAU has developed over $7 million of housing over the past 3 years alone, and that is accelerating as we talk. We have developed single-family, two-family, multiple-family units, as well as 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom apartments and condominiums. CAU provides housing and supports over 300 people with disabilities in Union County. We provide support to about 3,000 people with disabilities who live in their own homes in various situations throughout New Jersey. We help provide supports to individuals with disabilities who rent their own apartments. We help provide support as well, provide technical assistance to members with disabilities who own their own home. Equity is definitely very important to build. Without equity, when you look to retire, it's very hard to live independently. One of the individuals, Mark got a call from his brother. Mark was living in his home in Hillside, and his family passed away back in the early 1980s. Got a call from his brother, who lives in Chicago, and we were able to work with Mark, keep him in his own home in Hillside, and bring in a couple of people to rent from Mark. Mark is a community support program, fee-for-service member of CAU, and he was able to maintain his house through the rental of sub-renting with 2 individuals from the house, and we would provide the support he needs. About 15 years ago, Mark began working for Community Access part-time. He's full-time. He has his own 401k as any other employee of CAU. His brother decided that he really wanted to sell the house and put the money from the sale in a pension trust for his brother, Mark, which he did. Mark moved into a condominium in the early 1990s. Mark lived there, paid rent, and I guess about 5, 6 years ago, he really wanted to own his own place. And he lives by himself. He's a man about town. And we helped him acquire a $250,000 condominium. And through creative financing, working with the City of Elizabeth and CAU resources, Mark was able to acquire his condominium, and he pays taxes, he pays condo fees, he's very active on the condo board, sometimes very active, and treasurer of the condo board. And he pays no more for owning that condo than he was paying in rent. Mary, who works with us, same history as Mark, her family's passed away, is a client of DDD, a member of Community Access, a friend of mine. She works for CAU part-time, now full-time, and met a person from DDD. We're very active community life, and decided to get married. She married Ed. They've been married, it's got to be a decade now. And Ed needed accessible housing. They were renting a condominium. They decided they really wanted to own it. So the condominium was a little over $250,000, barrier-free, where they were living. They were able to acquire it through creative financing, through the City of Elizabeth, support from Community Access, and they've been living there for about a decade now as well. They're very active with the condo association. They have quite a few opinions about upkeep, and they pay no more in taxes and condo fees and mortgage, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, pity, than they were paying rent. CAU has, those are just 2 examples, I can keep going. CAU has helped siblings develop supports for their adult brothers and sisters and technical assistance through donated housing so they can live in their own homes after their parents have passed away. Another example, Bob, who's in his late 70s, his sister and brother were left with the house and the care of Bob. Bob was working full-time. with a local car dealership, and they went out of business. Mom passed away, and we got the phone call because brother and sister were not in a position to provide supports to Bob, who's a client of DDD. Again, they decided to do a donated house, worked out with the attorneys. Bob's been in there for over 15 years. He's gone through a lot of medical issues that we've helped walk him through and provide support so he can maintain himself in his house. And he has two roommates who have been here since the beginning. They're best buds. They pay rent to Bob, and Bob's able to pay for the upkeep of the house. And again, we put in about $75,000 to renovate that house. We've worked with other people that have called similar circumstances where we would go in and provide support to their son, daughter, brother, sister, living in a home. And when the house became stable, they were not interested in donating the house, which fine, we either continued providing support, or they were able to find some neighbors to pick up that support to move on. And that was terrific. We also provide support through the Division of Development of Disabilities to our DD members through supervised housing programs, supported living programs, and supported housing programs. These are scatter site, integrated housing units, integrated in the neighborhood. They live in the same complexes with people with not disabilities. They live with people of various income capabilities. So that is our vision, mission, to have integrated housing, helping people become tax-paying citizens living in the community. At CAU, we believe that supports need to be developed based on individual needs. As we each live through the years of our lives, each person's circumstances change, and I can't overemphasize that. Supports need to not only follow the person, but also supports need to be flexible so that one's life circumstances change. When they change, the supports are appropriate to address those changes that are needed. Few, if any of us, have lived in the same house all of our lives. Let's think of that. People with disabilities are no different. They are no different. They're just like us. They should not be locked into one location or housebound there because of funding sources or real estate commitments chaining them there forever. We need to be able to work the supports for people as the life circumstances change and their choices change. In this country, we have people that want to live together and get married, and we have a 50% divorce rate. Change happens. People with disabilities, just like us and anyone else, need to have real lives as part of the community and not placed into new, smaller institutions that just happen to be located in the community. I'm happy to offer any support or give you any advice for my 2 cents to help brainstorm with you. I'm not free. It costs a cup of coffee. That's be good coffee, not decaf. Cream, light sugar. No sugar, actually. I'm diabetic, so no sugar, light cream, and I'm good. As long as the coffee cup is filled, I'm okay. I'm here to help and support, give advice. If you want support from community access or not, that's up to you. It really, as long as you're doing the right thing with the right values and beliefs, I'm happy, and it's my life mission to help you achieve your goals as well. Thank you.